It's Tyler with TJX Survival with a very quick video on how to dress appropriately for winter. When it comes to dressing appropriately for winter, the most important part is to dress in layers. Okay? I've got a base layer on here that also works as a mid layer. This is the Swazi company, which is a company out of New Zealand. They make incredibly efficient and quality equipment for wet weather and cold weather. Basically, this is just like a thin yet highly insulating polar fleece layer. So you start with a base layer. Your base layer can be anything from wool, which is what I prefer, to synthetic layers. If you can, never wear cotton. Just remember the expression cotton kills. I used to say that in Alaska when I was guiding, cotton kills, because in the area of Juneau where I was at, it was a temperate rainforest. There was tons and tons of water slash snow slash wetness abounds. So cotton up there is horrible. I'm currently in Utah. Cotton's not such a big issue, so I have a base layer of cotton today. But if you remember, your base layer needs to be synthetic or wool, something against the skin that wicks the sweat away from your body so that you don't freeze. Then you have a mid-insulating layer. This is both a base layer and a mid-insulating layer. What I mean by mid-insulating layer is something like a polar fleece layer, a wool layer, something that's got a little volume to it so it insulates. I have this full knee reinforced suit here with my wool socks. That's both my base and my mid layer that I'm going to be wearing today. Then you want some sort of external layer like this. Okay, I have a Gore-Tex Patagonia external layer. You want this to keep the water off of you. The different brands that I like: Patagonia, Swazi, Marmot. There's tons of different brands out there, but those are some of them off the top of my head. I really like the Patagonia because it's got the reinforced knees. And some of my Arc'teryx stuff, which is another good brand, has a internal, it's like an internal gaiter that keeps the snow out on your ankles, which is really nice because then you don't have to wear an extra pair of gaiters. These have nice little suspenders. One trick I like to do with the suspenders is to cross them. It feels more comfortable for me to wear them that way. Then of course you need your upper external layer. If it's really cold, you're going to add wool or synthetic on top of this and then put your Gore-Tex. It's below freezing outside but not really cold, so I'm just going to add a Gore-Tex layer to this. And in this case it's my Swazi jacket. This is my Swazi jacket. Okay? This is a type of fabric called Aegeus, which is essentially a tri-laminate breathable fabric like Gore-Tex. The reason why I like this jacket is it's so long. Stand up here. You can see that it comes down to my legs. When it's raining, all the water will shear off, and when I sit down, I've got something to work with that's not going to permeate the membrane of the pant layer. This jacket also has this fuzz on the outside, which makes it quiet. So if I'm hunting or something, I'm not that noisy guy in the brush going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And of course this is green. Green's an excellent color for hunting. And it's also an urban applicable color. I don't stick out as much as I would if I had, say, camouflage. Some really ingenious things that Swazi has done with their jackets include the way that they have the cuffs set up. So inside of here is an internal layer. So if this is open, the wind's not going to blow inside of it and make you cold. Also, they have a little more length right here than the other jackets that you'll see. What that does is it gives me kind of a cushion. So if I close that up, it's nice and comfortable, and then I can throw a glove on top of it. I can put a full-on gauntlet type glove, or I can put these gloves, or which I actually prefer to use, and they will go right over the top of that closed piece there and stay incredibly warm. These are my fly fishing gloves. I use these so much in the backcountry, it's ridiculous. I just find them warm enough to keep my fingers warm. If it gets too cold, I just put the layer on, and They also give me the ability to have a little dexterity and be able to move my hands. Now, if it gets really cold, we'll put on a gauntlet. This is a gauntlet type glove. It's a combination glove with an internal glove and an external glove. The reason why that's awesome is because I can take this internal glove, and keep in mind I can also use that same type of fly fishing glove I just used a second ago, or a wool insert type glove, and wear that to where it's locked off inside of this cupping system, and then I can put the big glove on top of it. And again, since heat regulation has to do with layers, this gives me the ability to put it on and take it off. So these gloves are super warm, and there's even larger gauntlet mittens that you can wear that are similar to this. These are my ice climbing gloves. But what this gives me the ability to do is have these super warm gloves on, or have another set of gloves on underneath, or completely take those off. But again, the ingenious part of the Swazi jacket is the fact that they structured this in a way that it closes off nicely around the wrist, and it makes it all locked down. A couple more things that are really smart about the way this jacket's built. Has a nice drawstring right here in the middle. Keeps it nice and snug so there's no air moving up and down. Has this Velcro, which is large. I'm sorry, this flap, which is large, containing Velcro to keep it closed. And then, even without my hat on, I can close this up. So if I put a wool hat or a wool beanie or something on and close this down, I can still turn my head completely to both sides, and the hood moves with me. There's a little bar inside of this. So last week I was using this in some serious pouring down rain, and it just all comes over the front without getting into my face. So it's a very, very smart jacket in that regard. Also, it's got some reinforcement up in here. I like that from when I'm wearing a backpack, because in the past when I guided in Alaska, ironically enough, the part of my jacket that wore out the most was on my shoulders from moving around with the backpack on. So this reinforcement is really smart. Alright, so we talked about the majority of the body and our multiple layers. The last part is to cover your head. I've heard statistics that the head loses the majority of the heat. I've heard statistics that it hasn't. All I know is I get cold when I don't have a hat on. So you get yourself a nice hat, some goggles if needed, a shamag or whatever around the neck, a baklava if you need. But either way, keep your head warm. Now if you're hiking, if you're moving, you've got your snowshoes on and you're up in the mountains, unzip the front, unzip armpit zippers for jackets that have them, take your hat off, let that heat out. When you stop, you immediately put all of that back on. Now the Swazi jacket has this really nice big pocket right here that I can keep all my gloves, all my hat, another glove, another glove, another glove. There's a ton of space that I can keep in these pockets. So that's really nice. It makes me look like Fat Santa in the green, but I don't think I care. So the last part about winter preparation is this: good boots. One other thing that's very important to wear with your boots is a good set of gaiters. The reason is you'll walk through snow and fill these up with snow. Snow's insulating until it melts, then it's water, and it will be incredibly cold. So either wear a pair of overpants, snow pants that cover this up, this gasket, or wear a good set of gaiters that will lock that down and keep your boots dry. I have some extreme cold weather La Sportivas, and then I have this mid cold weather La Sportiva. They are Gore-Tex. They're Italian mountain boots. I got these from REI. Great place to get them. This in conjunction with wool socks, and I swear by wool socks, are the best way to handle cold weather in the winter. If you're getting into extreme cold weather, wear these about a size or two bigger, and wear 1 or 2 pairs of socks. Do not restrict circulation to your feet, or you will freeze your toes and not know it. So the key with this is loose in the toe, snug in the ankle. If you're going to go into extreme multi-day cold weather, get bigger shoes with multiple pairs of socks. If your feet get wet, immediately dry them. So that's all you really ultimately need to know in a nutshell for your footwear. Okay, this has been a quick video on how to dress appropriately for winter. You need to dress in layers, you need to dress in a fashion that you can take stuff off and put stuff on depending on how cold it is, and just be cognizant of your body continually so that you don't sweat. Once you start to sweat, then you can freeze. If you do find yourself sweating, take the layers off, sweat through those base layers, maybe even bring extra base layers that you can quickly change into that are dry to put your external shell layers back on. If these get wet, it doesn't really matter. You can just flick them off and throw them back on because they're your water layer anyway. But stay dry, dress in layers, keep your extremities warm, and be smart about what you do in the winter. If this has been valuable to you, please share it with people that you think may gain from this knowledge. Please pass it on. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Leave comments if you have requests or suggestions. I'm all ears. I will do my best to get to you as soon as possible and reply to any of your questions. And as always, thank you for watching.